Yeah. 1.8K means exactly the same number what we are getting it over here.
Yeah, but in a
Yeah. So
different
that then
format.
so yeah, then like you can because you can see that if you're putting into the cards and then it is coming like that. So the other possible option is maybe like if you can explore into the card like how that display unit or like a value decimal places how it is given. So these are the only two options where like the display unit can be differ or maybe like a different. Apart
Okay.
from that, there's no like option, so you can even try to check it. The first thing you can check into your form, like by clicking into that calculation, and you can see that if like you are saying that it is already whole number zero and all, so it is fine. Then you can the second thing you can check into your card, like the card, there's a call out value, and into that there's a option of display unit. Okay, so in my case, it is automatically like let's say even if I want to change it to 1,000, I can do that. So you'll get the same output. I think what I'm getting right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So fine, I guess, guys, this is the churned customer. Now the third, guys, I told you that you can try to calculate the churn rate. Now, guys, over here again, you calculate function will comes into the picture. For churn rate, you have to again now use the function called divide. Okay, so you have to uh, filter out all the churned customer and then divide it by the total number of customers. Okay, so even this is what I have shown you yesterday. So let's say if I just click on this churn rate, you can just copy this formula. So what is happening? I'm using divide over here. So guys, you just need to like remember the purpose of this function. So multiple times I told you that whenever there's a question or whenever there's a scenario where you need to filter out, let's say some data in every time in that scenario you have to use a function called calculate, and whenever there's a scenario when you need to get some like a rate percentage or anything, then you know that. So ultimately guys, it is the same like mathematical like a function you need to think of that. Okay, let's say if I want to divide two numbers, or if I want to like get 100 by 5, so again what function we can use over there, that is going to the divide. So churn rate is again if you think logically, so how we can calculate the churn rate? So that is nothing but the total number of churned customer. Let's say even if I try directly trying to take 1869 divide by 7043, that gives you the churn rate. That's a simple equation over here. So again, guys, now over here, if I think logically, we are using the we are trying to divide two numbers. So whenever we need to divide two numbers, there's a function called divide. Now, definitely, guys, first we need to filter out only the customer who are saying yes, means only those customer who are like churned. So we have to use the function called calculate to derive only the churned customer data and then divide it by the total number of like customers. So this will give you the churn rate, guys. So yeah, I hope that the first two things are like done. Just please acknowledge me once you have like completed the like the first two over here. Okay, done, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, guys, I think the next two you can definitely try to calculate it by yourself, because the next two is nothing but you have to take the admin card. So the card column is already there. You're not creating anything new. You just need to take the sum of admin card so that we can understand that how many complaints we have registered as a telecom service provider. Okay, and because later on then we are going to analyze that how much out of like these complaints, whatever the number of complaints has been registered, how much complaint we are able to answer, how much complaint we are able to like take care of. Because you can observe, guys, if you just go onto the table view, you can see that there are a lot of no's, which means that definitely the complaints are not being answered properly, or definitely, guys, I can say that the customers are definitely unsatisfied, maybe whatever the solution, or the way, let's say, the solution has been given. Okay, and that is definitely, guys, that can be one of the major reason why the churn rate is actually too high. Because definitely, guys, 26.5% churn rate is not like a small at all. Okay, so all these things, guys, we'll try to discuss later on, going through the different pages. But for a timing, guys, just try to create the first 5 KPIs which are present over here. Okay, so I guess the first three are done. Now, for the admin ticket, you have to take a sum of admin ticket. For tech ticket, you have to take the sum of tech tickets. Okay, and let me know, guys, once all the 5 KPIs are you have created. Yeah, guys, done. Yeah, I hope, guys, you're also taking care of the formatting by now. Yeah. And so, yeah, guys, now if the first 5 KPIs are done, now, guys, let me tell you that right now, guys, you can see that there are 7 more KPIs over here. Now, all these 7 KPIs, guys, are actually same. Okay, means the formula are actually relatively same. You just need to make small changes over there, and we'll get the same result. Okay. Now, let me show you guys one. So, what is happening, guys? What we are trying to understand, let's say, what is the churn rate. Okay, so you can see, guys, that overall the average churn rate is 26.5. Now we are assuming, guys, like even I asked yesterday that what are you thinking, what are the key factors which actually lead the customer to churn. And many of you guys answered this thing that, okay, online security. Some of you answered this. Now, definitely, guys, these are nothing but the support system. Okay, and even I believe that the main point. Okay, so let's say even if your if a service is that not up to the mark, but if the support system is good. Okay, if the if I'm making a call anytime, or if I'm making if I raise a request at any time, and I'm getting a quick response, and I'm getting a humble response, definitely, guys, that is definitely a way to handle a query in a manageable way, and that is a way, guys, to handle it in an efficient way. Now, I think, guys, the major reason of this particular churn is definitely going to be a kind of a support system which is there. Because I can observe that there are so many columns. One of the pain point, or maybe the major pain point for the customer. And let's say if I want to analyze it. Okay, so you can see, guys, that churn rate with no technical network is okay, disconnected. Okay, fine. I can see, guys, that as I told you that even yesterday you have given me this answer that online security can be one of the major reason, and you can see, guys, that that hypothesis actually true because there is a 78.2% like a churn rate, which is definitely, guys, very high in comparison to the average churn rate like when there's no online security, means when the customer doesn't get the online security. Similarly, guys, when the customer doesn't get the technical support, in that case the churn rate is 77.4%. When the customer doesn't get the online backup, in that case, guys, the churn rate is 66%. Okay, now in a similar way, guys, you're trying to understand the churn rate based on let's say a different category, like you can see, guys, that if I talk about the churn rate where it is higher than the average churn rate, so in case of partner it is 35.8, in case of senior citizen it is 25.5, and in case of dependents 17.4. Now in a similar way, guys, even the streaming movies or streaming TV can also be added, but for a timing, guys, these are my let's say the main points, or the main you can say the categories where we can clearly observe that the churn rate is actually increases a lot when there is when there's a problem with the support system. Okay, now exactly, so guys, if you bring this thing in the very first page, so the client is able to understand let's say can able to understand the pain point or the major drawback of their own service system in the very first page itself. Okay, because these KPIs, guys, are not giving you that whatever the information given inside the dataset, this particular KPI also helps you to understand that where you need to make the first improvement. Okay, so for that reason, guys, all these KPIs has been created. Now, guys, the formula for all these KPIs are completely similar. You only need to change the category and let's say the category value. Like over here, guys, again, if I think like in a larger way, that what can be the function we can use over here. So again, guys, a similar function will be utilized, because again we have to filter out the data. We want to filter out let's say wherever the answer is no, wherever the technical support is no, and then we have to like divide that no with the overall data, means with the total number of like rows, and then we'll get the like a percentage over here, guys, just calculate the churn rate. Okay, so let me show you guys once like for one example for the technical support, and I want you guys to prepare for the other four categories. Okay, So the online security, backup, and device protection. So let me just click on this measure. And these are again guys going to be the measure only. So you can see guys that we are using the same function, divide and calculate. Okay. So you first simply trying to take the count of let's say the total number of rows. Then you are trying to filter out only the no from the technical support. And then guys you are trying to divide it by the total number of let's say the data. Okay. So yeah guys, just try to create it for technical support. Now once guys you create it for technical support, in a similar way, guys, you can try to create for online security. You just need to replace the tech support everywhere with the online security. Okay, do it, guys. Do it for all the four majors. Okay, these three you can try to, but for the session for the right now, just try to create at least here. Okay, so one with security, backup, device protection. Guys, create all four and then inform me once it is done.
I want to see the KPIs. The formula is hiding.
Is hiding. No, so KPIs means the second one. The other ones are like the same online security, like just like with no technical support. The next one is with no online security, what should be the like a churn rate? Okay, then you have no online backup with no online backup and finally with no device protection. Yeah. And what others are doing? Are you like creating all these like KPIs, guys? Alicia, Divya, Rohit. Yeah, guys. Okay, great, Alicia. So yeah, all the four KPIs has been created. Then guys, is it done? I'm just asking for like guys for 4 KPIs right now. Please acknowledge me once you have
I'm
created
I'm just
four.
I have completed the formula measure, but I am
Okay.
doing the cards, designing the cards.
Okay, okay. I think just do it for once and copy it to others.
Yes, I completed.
Okay, great, great, Lakshmi. So yeah, guys. So I think these four, if you just follow the same approach, you can create it. Now it's up to you, like how you are adjusting it for a time being. On the top, guys, I've just added two slicers, which I think that yeah, you guys can easily add it. Now, guys, before leaving this page, I think yeah, definitely. I hope now you understood that how even these three KPIs can be created based on dependent. Okay, so over here, right, guys, in this four, we are actually looking for no. But in this three, we are looking for yes. Okay, so what is the churn rate one when customer having a dependence? What is the churn rate when a customer having a partner, and what is the churn rate when customer is a senior citizen? Okay, so just opposite like thing, guys, we are checking it over here, but again the formula is same. You just need to replace wherever there's a no, you have to replace it with yes. Okay, now guys, before moving on to the next page, before discussing about the exploratory analysis, so in this like guys, the best point of this case study that all four different types of analytics has been discussed like over here. Okay, so you are able to find out in the first page there's a more about descriptive analytics. In the second page it is more about diagnostic, exploratory and diagnostic analysis. Going forward in the third page having the same, and the last page, guys, contains that prescriptive analytics. Okay, so now if this is one column, if I go through the entire column, guys, through the entire till the end, you are able to find out, guys, that definitely every column. Okay, so when I ask you to pick three, or when I ask you to pick five, you probably can pick like those three or five columns, but you can also understand that maybe by leaving one or two columns, every columns are having at least some impact in one way or another. And that is the same thing, guys, you can actually observe over here when you try to analyze the churn rate by gender. Okay, so yeah, guys, for this I hope that you can easily recognize this chart. This is a donut chart. So what you guys can do, you guys can try to create a donut chart to analyze the churn rate by gender. Do it, guys, and tell me what output you are getting. Yeah, you guys, is it done?
I get the chart, but the labels. So I'm not getting male, female. Instead, it's showing 0, 0. And the percentage is same, 49.28 and 50.7.
Taken the gender over here, no? Like onto the legends, we have taken gender, and onto the values, we have taken the churn rate.
Yes. So I'm getting the same chart, but instead of male, female, it's displaying 0.
Instead of male, female, it's displaying zero.
Yeah, in both the cases. But the percentages are correct, the same. The
Percentage
percentage.
is what?
Yeah. Yes.
No, percentage is what you're getting, that 26%,
49, 49.28
49.
28
Okay.
percentage for and
That's the churn rate.
6.72.
That is fine then. Yeah, that's then it is fine. So you can check into your and so you are getting legend maybe on the right side, no?
Yes, it is showing male, female
So
as a legend. Yeah.
so then it is fine. So actually, okay, again, it is because of formatting. You can see that if I go into the formatting, I turn off the legend. In your case, it is definitely on.
Yeah.
And I turn on the data labels. And what I have done is I actually change it to the all data labels. Okay, so by default, it is showing data value and the percent of total. So like if I do the same, you can see that I'm not getting the male and female. Okay. So I just change it to the all data labels. So I'm getting all detailed labels over here, male, female. And now if I'm getting the male and female over here itself, so I turn off the legend.
Okay.
Okay. So not a big deal, is actually the same like a thing, but yeah, in my case, I have turned off the data labels. Okay, so fine. I think now, guys, from this chart, again, our hypothesis is true because we can easily assume, guys, for this domain and even for so many domain, we can easily assume that the churn rate is definitely not accelerated by the gender. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you are a male, whether you are female. If you're a customer and if you're not finding that the service is good, if you're not finding that the support system is good, you can definitely churn, like you can definitely stop using the service. Doesn't matter like what your gender is. Okay, and the same thing we can observe through the chart as well. Now, guys, this page ultimately gives you more about the descriptive analysis, more about the KPI card, and ultimately, guys, the last four KPI cards playing a very important role for my stakeholder, for the company, for the client, to understand that what may be the main problem, what is the main point why the customers are probably leaving the stop using the service. Now, moving forward, guys, we can try to draw some relationships and can try to find more maybe can try to definitely find like a more like outcomes or the more maybe the reasons why the customer are probably leaving the form or leaving the service. Okay. Now going on to the second page, guys. Now I've started with the again with from the very basic one. Now I will not guys click onto the chart, or I can even try to click onto the chart, but then I remove that visualization so that it should not you cannot check into that. Now guys, over here what we have done, I have created the churn rate by the internet service. And again, guys, you have to create the same. Now I think this is the simplest one. For this you don't need to put a lot of effort. I think it's simple clustered column chart where by the internet service we are trying to analyze the churn rate and trying to understand that for which particular internet service the churn rate is actually high and for which it is low. Okay. So do it, guys. Create a clustered column chart and analyze the churn rate by internet service. Yeah, guys. Yeah. So yeah, we can clearly observe, guys, that the churn rate is actually high, and it is actually two times greater than the DSL internet service. Now there are definitely, guys, a very possible reasons for it that I told you yesterday itself that when I talk about, guys, the differences between the different kind of internet service over here. So fiber optic, guys, definitely like the kind of internet service where the customer are actually searching for a very high internet speed, and along with that, definitely because they are definitely, guys, giving like more money for, or they're charging more for the fiber optic in comparison to the DSL. So like if I compare it, guys, with nowadays, let's say today's like a service. So we know, guys, that we got a different kind of an option when we try to use the Wi-Fi. So there's an option of 100 Mbps speed, there's an option of 40 Mbps speed. And along with that, guys, on the top of that, we're also getting the like offers related to streaming OTT platforms. Okay. Now the same thing, guys, over here with the the fiber optic and the DSL internet service. Now, guys, definitely fiber for the fiber optic internet service. Right now, we can make an assumption that the customers are actually paying more for this particular service, so their expectation are a bit higher, but definitely, guys, they are not getting the kind of a support or the kind of a service which they are expecting. Or maybe if they are comparing it with the other telecom service, they are finding it that the other telecom service providing a better service in that same amount, in that like a fiber optic service. And maybe that is one of the possible reason why there is a churn, the churn rate over here is actually high. Okay, because it is 42%, which is like 2 point, you can say, yeah, two times greater than the DSL internet service. Okay. So now, guys, the first thing which I have told you now, definitely, guys, we don't have any column to analyze this thing, like whether like they are getting the support. So that is what we can try to check with a technical uh, uh, with the technical what I can say, the tech support and all. But we don't have any column, guys, to see the speed or something like related to that. So I can actually check one thing, that what is the price, okay, what is the cost of what can be the what is the monthly charges of those customer who are using fiber optic in compared to like the customer who are using the DSL, and whether the cost is too high, whether the cost is let's say very high over there. Now for that, guys, in the very second chart I have done this. So you can again guys try to do the same thing. You have to analyze the monthly charges by internet service. Okay, and for this we are using the pie chart. So do it guys, and then you'll see the difference. You'll see the clear difference over here, that why that definitely monthly charges are typically very high for the for one kind of internet service, which is fiber optic. Okay, so draw the pie chart guys to analyze the monthly charges by internet service. Yeah, guys, it's the turn.
Yes.
Okay, so if you create this chart, guys, you can simply observe what is happening over here. And again, guys, in this pie chart, I have done the same thing, the same formatting. That turn off the legend and turn off the detailed labels, and that is why I'm getting this kind of output over here. And one more thing, that definitely I changed the color as well. So if you're having this doubt, you can definitely check into the formatting. Now you can see guys that we don't need to do anything with the no, but if you look at guys these numbers over here for DSL internet service. So like guys, the customer who are using DSL internet service, their total monthly charges. Okay, so total. Okay, I'm talking about that total monthly charges for those like a customer is 140.6 thousand. Whereas guys, the customer who are using fiber optic internet service is 283.2 thousand. The second important thing, guys, which you can observe, that 30% of the total revenue or of the total monthly charges are actually coming from the customer who are using the DSL internet service. Whereas, guys, 62.1%, or I can say, let's say 60%, guys, revenue or the of the total monthly charges coming from the customer who are using the fiber optic internet service. So over here, guys, you can see that again the same thing, that over here guys, that the money is actually two times greater than whatever is there for a DSL internet service. It means guys that, let's take a very simple example to understand it. Let's say guys, for 40 Mbps of like Wi-Fi speed of the internet speed from the Wi-Fi, if I'm giving, let's say 599 for a month. Now guys, what is happening for let's say 100 Mbps of a speed, now they're asking to pay let's say 1199 for a month. Okay, but after taking that 1199, or maybe more than a bit more than that, they're not like able to provide the kind of a service or like as per the expectation. So definitely guys, if the churn rate is actually happening over here, which you can see guys that it actually covered that 62% of the entire revenue coming from here. And if these customers are start churning out, if these customers stop using the service, then there's a huge loss. So it is not only guys up about that 26% out of 100%. It is not only about that 26%, it is also about that those 26% customer actually contain they will actually take out they will actually even take a lot of revenue which they are actually generating on a monthly basis. Okay, so that is a real concern, and that is why we always say that retaining our customers is actually more important. And for either for these kind of organizations, retaining a customer is more important, or definitely guys, it is less painful in comparison to acquiring a new customer, because acquiring a customer, guys, is actually require a lot of cost and resources in comparison to retaining the existing customers over here. Okay, because you can see, guys, that it is not only about the percentage in terms of like numbers, how many customers are living. It is also in terms of the monetary value, what they're now, right till now we are getting from these customer, and now we are going to lose it. Okay, so fine, guys, this is like these two charts are giving a very broad picture of like what is happening into the data set, and definitely what may be the concern point for the organization. Now moving forward, guys, we can talk about our next like a chart, which is again a very easier one, that is a bar chart for churn rate by the payment method. Now with this chart, guys, we are able to understand that what may be the most preferable method or payment method for a customer. Okay, so draw it, guys, and meanwhile, after drawing it, we can take a break for 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll actually continue from this chart. Okay, so yeah, draw it, guys, and then we'll take a break of like 2 minutes. Yeah, guys, it's a done to everyone. Churn rate by payment method.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see guys that what is maybe the most preferred like a payment method for the customer, and it is definitely guys even in today's scenario the credit card bank transfer means the online mode of like a transfer payment method is most preferred instead of like those previous method mail checked or like let's say the electronic check. Okay. Now, guys, the next we have created. Now, this is a new chart, but again, like a simpler one. So, churn rate by contract. Now, again, guys, this particular feature is very, very important. Okay. So, you'll see, guys, that the churn rate by contract over here, and you'll definitely observe, guys, that in month to month, the churn rate, then 1 year, with the 1 year subscription, what is the churn rate, and with 2 year subscription, what is the churn rate? Okay. Now, guys, for this, let me tell you the chart which I have used is a funnel chart. So you can use the same and you can try to create this churn rate by contract. Okay. So try to create get this chart and then we'll try to understand more about it, more detail about this chart. Yeah, guys, is it done?
I'm getting a different value, but I'm getting the things correct. In the left side, I have given uh, contract in
Okay.
contract in category and values in count of churn. The values is churn, right?
No, count of churn. नहीं, I think it is churn rate
Churn
on
rate. Okay.
because we are exploring the churn rate by contract, like where the churn rate is actually high. Yeah, done.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see, guys, that if I talk about the churn rate by contract, okay, now definitely, guys, different, like it's actually based on like what kind of a subscription like customer are using. So the customer, or I can say many customer, are actually relying on that month to month contract. Then many customer are taking that 1 year subscription, and then the other set of customer who are taking let's say 2 year of subscription. Now guys, if you try to compare that difference over here, so the churn rate is actually very high with month to month like a contract. But you can see, if you can see the difference guys, so it is actually 4 times greater than with respect to that 1 year of like subscription. And if you compare it guys 2 year, then it is like way more. Okay, it is maybe 10 again it is even 20 times greater than 2 years of subscription. Now, guys, you can see that with the month-to-month contract, the chances of churn is actually really, really high. It is very high if the customer are taking month-to-month contract, because if the customer are taking month-to-month contract, means that, let's say, if the customer uses the service for the first month, and probably in the next month, if they're not if the customer is not satisfied, or if the customer is not happy with the service, he can stop using taking the recharge, stop taking he can stop using that particular service at all. Okay, whereas guys, definitely in 1 year subscription, the telecom service company also can relax that. Okay, at least for 1 year, they're not the customer is not going to churn at all, and the same goes for 2 year subscription. Now guys, this 1 year, 2 year, and let's say a month to month subscription even depends on guys that based on the customer experience. Now let's say guys, if any customers start using the service let's say from April itself, then definitely guys, by the end of the May, the customer is not going to take 1 year of subscription. Okay, so it depends. So guys, let's say the customers start taking that 1 year of subscription, or the customer start taking that 2 year of subscription. It depends upon guys that particular trust which the telecom service provider guys actually created from let's say in the last 10 year, or in the last 15 year, in the last 5 years, and so on. Okay, definitely guys, if the customer are new, then they are not directly shifted to start shifted and start taking 1 year or 2 year subscription. It takes guys let's say year to 4 or 5 years of time to build that trust, and then to maintain that trust for let's say a longer period of time, and then only guys customer can think of changing their subscription plan, and can shift to the 1 year or 2 year. Okay, even guys, if the customer is not changing to shifting to 1 year 2 year, but let's say if the customer is using the service from a longer tenure, then the telecom service provider can actually assume that, okay, this particular customer will not churn. Okay, let's say even if I talk about guys, most of the customers, or like even nowadays, so it is possible guys that when we are using the service, we are using the same service from the last 5 or 10 years, but still guys, we are using that month to month subscription. Okay, so that is completely fine. But if I'm using guys the service from the last 5 or 10 years, then the chances of churn is very, very low. Okay, now that is again guys from this particular chart. And let's say if I can use one more factor, that's a tenure, means from how long like a customer using the service. So by combining these two factor guys, if whatever the assumption I'm making, if that assumption actually stays true for the tenure as well. So when I say tenure guys, it means that I'm assuming that with the more tenure. Okay, so if the tenure is high, then the chances of churn is low. Okay, so if this assumption stays true, when I use the tenure column and try to analyze the churn rate for that, so if this assumption stays true, I can definitely guys make a piece of advice and make a piece of suggestion for the client, that at the initial stage, when you acquire a new customer, try to provide more support, more love, more care at the start of at the start of, let's say, maybe in the first year or till the second year, so that the customer can build that so that you can build that trust with the customer, you can build that bond with the customer, and then the customer will even stay for a longer period of time. Because when the customers stay for a longer period of time, let's say for 3 or 4 years, then the chances of churn will be very, very low. Okay, now this statement guys, we can actually write, we can actually recommend only after analyzing the tenure as well. Okay, Now, guys, for that, we already have the tenure column, but there's a problem with the tenure column, guys, over here. Okay. So if I can show you guys the like over here, you can see that I have created one chart over here, let's say clustered column chart, and definitely guys, my assumption stays true over here. But over here, guys, you can see that we have some, I have created something 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. But if you go into the table view and if you try to check your tenure column, it is not in form of a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. If you look at this column, it is actually between 1 to 72. Okay, it means, guys, that we have a data, guys, for 6 years. Okay, means the maximum tenure for which any customer using, let's say, the same service, it is 6 year, and the minimum tenure is, let's say, 1 month. Okay, so 1 to 72, that is what, guys, we have created over here. Now what you have to do, guys, okay, so if you know, guys, that how you can convert this into, let's say, this kind of a column where you have to create tenure, you have to calculate tenure in years. Okay, now, guys, if you remember, we have created something called as a switch function. We have used something called as a switch function for multiple conditions. Okay, now, guys, for let's say, if you want to break it down, if you want to make it instead of month, if you want to break it down as year, because this 72 months, let's say if I want to create that 72 months over here, then there will be 72 sticks. Now, definitely, guys, anyone cannot actually able to analyze that 72 sticks. Now, in that case, guys, what you can do, you can take if the tenure is less than 12, you can just make it as 1 year. If it is less than 24, you can make it as 2 year, and then till guys, till the 72 months. Okay, so I hope, guys, you got the point, and it's very simple, guys. So if the month is less than 12, means 1 year. If the month is between 12 to 24, it means 2 year. 24 to 26, 3, then 4, then 5, and definitely, guys, 6 is the last one, so you don't need to write the condition for it. Okay, so if the month is greater than 60, then it is definitely a like a 6 year. So go ahead, guys, try to create it. We have already created it like earlier with a switch function. At least try it out, guys. Yeah, guys, anyone who has created that like a new column. Yeah, guys, anyone who has created that feature. Guys, any previous report you can try to check, and you just need to use a switch function. I'm already giving you the hint, and can try that new column to create over here. Yeah, guys, how many of you even trying, guys, to create this new column? So it's simple, guys. I guess now after this, you just need to write the condition and okay, great, Lakshmi. Okay, so at least like one like candidate is even able to create it. That's great. So yeah, guys, nothing much you have to do. Just need to search for the column. Okay, so my column name is a bit different. Okay, so we have the churn data set over here. I can just simply try to extend it and see that where that column is. So we are talking about, guys, this column which is uh okay. So where is my tenure column over here? Uh, yeah, at this level. So we have this tenure column. If I just use once, then it will come. Yeah. So tenure column over here, we have to check that if this value is, let's say, less than or equals to 12, I will name it as 1 year. Simple. Then comma, and you have to go on to the value 2. And again, guys, the same thing will be followed. So next time I have to take the tenure again and see that If the value is less than or equals to 24, then comma and write the result over here, which is, let's say, 2 years. Okay. Then again, comma, go on to the next and just follow the same thing, guys. Okay. So again, tenure over here till the end, we have tenure column, and just check that if it is, sorry, if it is less than or equals to 36, then we have to write it as 3 years. Okay. Moving forward, again, you have to take the tenure and again have to check that if it is less than equals to 48. So we have to simply mark it as what is that? 4 years. Again, comma, next. So I think, guys, this is what you have to do. I don't think that any complex process we are trying to follow over here. And these are like the thing, guys, which we have already written so many times earlier. So 60, then again, now this time it will be 5 years. Close the bracket and move on to the last one. Now, guys, for the last one, I think now I don't have to write it over here. I simply have to write it as 6 years. Close the bracket and this is done. So, yeah, guys, this even if you have missed, there is no problem with that, and you can even try to fix it. So fine, now you can see, guys, that we got like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, and finally we have 6 years. So here, there's no bracket left. Now, if you click enter, that new column will be created, and into that new column, instead of getting one year, now I have written it as 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year as. Okay. So you can see, guys, that yes, we are getting the output over here at the end. Now, is the thing which we are discussing it over here is I want to see, guys, that what is the like whether I can make this recommendation to my client that at the initial stage, you have to provide more support, you have to provide more care, more love to your customers, so that the customer, you can actually retain the customer for a longer period of time. And once you are able to retain that customer, let's say for more than 3 or 4 years, then the chances of churn will be less. The chances of churn will be very less. And the same thing, guys, you can observe over here. Now, there's no fancy chart we have created. This is a simple clustered column chart where the new column which you have taken, which is tenure in years. And then, guys, we are trying to analyze the churn rate by that tenure in years. Okay. So yeah, guys, first create it and then we'll try to discuss this chart, what is happening over here. Do it, guys. I think this is a simple clustered column chart. Done, guys. So you can see, guys, that if you have created it, you can clearly observe, guys, that the churn rate is actually decreasing as the number of years or the tenure in years is actually increasing. Okay, so with you can see, guys, that like in 1 year the churn rate is actually highest. It is 47.4%, which is definitely, guys, very high. Which means, guys, that at the initial stage there's a more chance of churn if the customer didn't like the service, or if the customer didn't let's say happy with the service, then the chance of churn is very high. It is 47.4%. Going ahead, guys, you can see that with 2 years of experience, again the same thing, 28.7% is the churn rate. So definitely, guys, it reduces a lot from 47%. It now becomes 28%. So approximately 20% decrement is there. Then with 3 years of experience, guys, it again decreases and becomes 21.6%. Then with 4 years of experience, guys, or with 4 years of tenure, the churn rate becomes 19%. So you can see, guys, that after that's what, guys, I try to recommend, that if the customer stay there or using the same service for like more than 3 years, then the chances of churn will be less. And it is the same thing, guys, happening over here. Now over here, guys, the churn rate is actually less than 20%. Then with 5 year, guys, it again reduces to 14% only. And then with 6 year, guys, it reduces to 6% only, okay, or 6.6%. So you can clearly observe, guys, that if you look at this chart, so you can simply see the pyramid, that the churn rate is actually decreasing with more years with the service, or with more years like in a tenure. Okay. So now, guys, whatever I told you, that definitely, guys, this is something which we can recommend to the client, that provide a more support and benefit, discount, care, whatever it is in the first few years. Once you are able to acquire the customer, once customer stay there or start use your service for, let's say, more than 3 or 4 years, then the chances of churn will be very low. Okay, and that's the same thing, guys, happening over here. Now, one more chart, guys, we have created, which is again the clustered chart coming along with this line chart, guys. Okay, so line and stack column chart. Okay, so this is the chart we have. Now, in this chart, what is there? It is nothing but we already have the churn rate by contract. Okay, so the churn rate by contract we have over here. On the x-axis, guys, we have taken the contract. On the y-axis, guys, we have taken the monthly charges. And on the column y-axis, guys, there's a churn rate. Okay, so over here, guys, we like this is the same chart which we have analyzed earlier with the funnel one. Now the same chart, guys, I try to even include the let's say the monthly charges. Okay, so you can see, guys, that definitely, guys, when you are taking month-to-month charges, so there are two things, guys. So anyone, definitely, guys, there are a lot of people that the majority of the customer who are taking month-to-month charges. Okay, and that's the reason, guys. You can see, guys, that from there the total amount of revenue, or if I can say that to the total monthly charges which is actually produced, it is around 0.26 million. Okay, which is definitely too high. So definitely, guys, it is 0.26 million, which is like definitely very high, because there are two things, guys. The first thing is the number of customers over here for this particular category is definitely very high. The second thing, guys, if you compare, guys, that month to month charging, and with someone who are taking like a yearly subscription, so definitely, guys, there's a benefit in terms of like a cost. Okay, and that is what we can see over here. Okay, so the total revenue, guys, generating by those customers who are doing month to month taking month to month contract, it is 0.26 million. Then the total revenue generating by the customer who are taking yearly contract, it is 0.1 million. And then, guys, for let's say again with the 2 year, guys, it is coming the same, that is 0.1 million. Okay, so you can see, guys, that what are all the numbers we are getting it over here. Okay, so it is 95,816. It is like 1 lakh, so bit higher because definitely get 2 year contract in terms of number, guys, it will be higher. So even if the similar amount of customers are taking that service or taking that subscription, so it is actually higher. Okay, and over here the number is let's say 2,57,000. Okay, so this is guys what we are getting, and with this we kind of know that most of the customers over here, are actually relying on to that month to month subscription in comparison to 1 year or 2 year of subscription. Okay, but there are two very important finding, guys, which we have from this overall page, guys. The first one is related to the internet service, and we understood, guys, that how much important these customers are who are using the fiber optic internet service. So the only recommendation, guys, over here, that it is fine that you are charging high for the particular internet service, but at the same time, guys, you have to make sure that these customers should not leave. So you have to check your support system should improve. You have to check that what maybe the other pain point of the customer, when whether network is the issue or whether high internet speed issue, whatever the issue, guys, try to resolve it, because these customers who are using the fiber optic internet service are like very very important for us. Okay, and similarly, guys, for the last two charts, the fourth one and the sixth one, again there's a very important recommendation we can give to like the client, that try to be more supportive and like careful for let's say the new acquired customer, because if you are able to hold that customer for a longer period of time, then the chances of churn will be less. Okay, so I hope, guys, that this whole page is actually clear to everyone. Definitely, guys, you have created all these six charts. Now it's the only thing is you can try to arrange it like in a way, or the way whatever you want. And then at the top, guys, I've added again two slicers, just to again make it more informative and dynamic. Okay, so yeah, guys, is it done for everyone? Just let me know, guys, if there is any question from here. Okay, guys, great. So now, guys, moving on to the last page we have, that is page three. And again, this page three, guys, is actually about the key influencers. Okay. So yesterday itself, guys, we have created this like a key influencers. Now, guys, again, as I told you even yesterday, that so yesterday also, guys, we have created it and we try to take all the important features. Now, guys, just try to create the same key influencers over here. Okay, and then, guys, tell me that till now, guys, yesterday I asked you the same question, that what according to you the top three factors which are influencing to the churn. Now today, guys, I'm asking the same question, that what are the three most important factor, or maybe the most important factor. But now, guys, that is the answer you have to give me by using that key influencers. Okay, so yeah, guys, I think yesterday itself we have discussed about the key influencer, that how we can create it and how we can understand about that particular chart. So yeah, guys, create that key influencer chart and let me know that what are the top three factors which influencing the customer to churn. Do it, guys, everyone. Yeah, guys, did you check that? What are the top three segments or the top three, let's say the factors, or let's say maybe four or five, which influencing the customer to churn? Yeah, guys, anyone? Lakshmi, Mayuri, Alicia, those who are creating this, what are the top three factors we have? Guys, again, it is not like so difficult, and you have like a limited number of columns over here. Uh, can try to simply go just into the segment, and maybe into the first two segment, you got your answer that what are those important factors. It's okay, but I think it is already there into mine. Okay, and I think it's even whatever the charts we have created, we got an idea that okay, what bigger top segments we have, and if you just check that, guys, so these are the I think in the very first hand you get those segments, and even it is not new. It is the same what we have discovered or what we have discussed so far in that different charts. Okay, so you can see, guys, that the if I talk about guys the first segment, it actually contains 76% of the churn rate, which is guys 49% higher than the average churn rate. And you can see, guys, into that segment there are three factors we have. So in the very first segment you got your three factors. The first one is contract, the second one is internet service, and the third one is sum of tenure. If it is less than or equals to 4, then the chances of churn is very high. If you even go into the second segment, guys, you probably get the similar factors over there. So again, the contract internet service. Now the sum of tenure is only increases to instead of 4 now it actually increases to 15 months. Okay, so less than it is 15 months. But it's still if the factor, so tenure is always important factor. Then guys, finally in the third segment, you are getting the tech support as well. So if the tech support is no, then again the chances of churn rate is very high. Then in the fourth and fifth segment, we don't have anything new. Now guys, from this you're getting the segment. Even guys, if you go into the key influencers, you can see guys that the contract is on the top. So if when the contract is month to month, the churn is 6.32 times more likely to be theirs in comparison to any other value. In the second position, guys, you're getting this online security if it is no. So let's say, guys, if I need to choose like the top three or the top five from like our end, we can definitely talk about the contract and tenure because both are like giving helping me to give a similar kind of a recommendation. Both are like kindly kind of correlated, guys, kind of correlated feature if I talk about the contract and the month. The second one, guys, which we can consider is definitely the online security. Then the third I can probably consider the tech support, and sorry, we need to even consider the internet service. Okay, so definitely, guys, even if you can see over here also, so these four are actually written on the top. Okay, so definitely, guys, if these are the issues so definitely, guys, if any firm, guys, in any organization, if there are multiple like a problem, so or let's say in order to fix it, they cannot fix all these things at once. Okay, so let's say if I talk about top three or top two, so they can actually understand that okay, what are the main concern which need to be addressed on the very first place. Okay, so definitely, guys, they need to address their support system. They need to they need to check that what their support staff are doing because that is one major concern. Because, guys, definitely if the like if I talk about, guys, the overall recommendation over here, that so the main concern, guys, which we are able to understand is nothing but the main concern is about the support system. So if their support system will improve, definitely, guys, they can hold the customer for a longer period of time. So that tenure problem will also get reduced. And definitely, guys, the customer will stay for a longer tenure and the chances of churn will get decreased. The chances of yearly subscription will also get increased. So definitely this particular column will also involve into that. So ultimately, guys, if one recommendation which I can try to give to this particular client, it is definitely, guys, going to be that you need to improve, or you need to definitely bring a lot of let's say maybe the transparency or improvement into your support system, because all these factors, guys, if I talk about the online security, technical support, online backup, all these, guys, are actually a part of the support system itself. And ultimately, guys, even we have one assumption that why the customer with the fiber optic are actually start like having more number of churn. It is maybe because the speed is not good, or maybe the services are not good. So again, guys, it may be they're not getting the kind of a support or the service from the support team. Okay, so ultimately, guys, if one recommendation or one a strong recommendation we can give to the client, it is going to be the improve your like a support system at any cost so that all these churn rate will get reduced. Okay. So you can see guys that in the final page, we try to break it down into the steps like what are the findings, and then we also try to list down like maybe the recommendation which we can we can actually give. Okay. So I think it's definitely most of the things, most of the charts into this particular case study. I think most of them you already created by yourself. Still, I will share this whole like case study notebook, guys, the file with you, and you guys can definitely try to like improvise or maybe do some experiment, or you can try to change whatever the change or update you want to do. Okay. So I think guys that's all from today's session, and it's already been guys 2 weeks. I hope that you guys definitely able to develop some idea from your end that you can definitely create like some of the tasks by your end. Okay. So even if you want guys, just like the previous like a week, I can try to give you one like a set of case study along with the data set and maybe some set of questions, and yeah guys, you can try to do it, and again for your practice it will be really helpful. Okay, because now guys in the in the next week, because I think now we have discussed each and everything possible which is there part of the Power BI. Now in the last session guys, we'll discuss one last thing, that if we have multiple sheets and multiple connections can be created, so how we can do that and how we can work with a kind of a real world data where there may be 5 or 6 different sheets are there, how we can bring how we can try to extract that let's say the piece of informations from that multiple sheets, and we can make that connection, and then again bring that final insight and recommendation in one single page. Okay, so that is guys going to be a task for the next week, but before that I will upload this file. Along with that, I will upload one more assessment file for your practice. Kindly do it, guys. It will definitely give you more knowledge and confidence to you. Okay. So fine, guys. Thank you so much. And you guys can even try to like ask me any question at any point of a time. Even last week, you guys messaged. It might be a possibility that my response can be late, but I will definitely respond on to that. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Good night.